Hi everyone, Michelle here. I wanted to do a flip through of my 2020 Christmas journal, and I've had some questions about my journal cover. I did make it, and at the end I'm gonna go over how I made it and tell you the things I used, but I won't do that right now because I just want to take the time to go over what's in my journal first, and then it'll be empty, and that way I can show you all about the cover that I did make. So I have several things in here. First, I have my first Advent book, which was in this tiny matchbook from Pink Paper Peppermints. I have a separate video for this. I'm not going to go over this again, but I did finish it, and you can go watch that video. It's on my IGTV. And this is the book that I'm going to do a flip through for you. This was Wonders of His Love. It's at pinkpaperpeppermints.com. You can purchase that there. It's a print at home file system where you purchase it and they send you files, and then you can print it yourself. Now, I did my binding as a sewn binding from the center of the book. That's just what works best for me because I needed it to lay flat, but you could staple it or do whatever you needed to do. Melissa, the creator and owner of Pink Paper Peppermints, gave us a free calendar, which I haven't filled out yet. I need to do that, but I just stuck that in here, and I made a pocket with, this was one of the papers that came in the kit, so I needed some place to keep my calendar, so I just made a pocket for that. Okay, so this is how my book is set up. Originally, this was the only Advent I was going to do, and that consisted of the weekends of Advent, the Sundays in Advent, and then the culmination to Christmas Eve. Well, after that, I had made another journal as a gift for someone that just had photos in it, and then I decided to do this Advent, and this was a daily Advent, and I did it through the YouVersion Bible app, and it was called Journey to the Manger, and it was done by I'm trying to think, I think it's Charles Stanley, but it was part of his. And what you did was you read a verse, and then they had a devotion that went with it. So a lot of this writing is going to be covered because that's my personal. Some of it's not, but anyway, and you can see I did started typing out. What I did was I went through and I would type up. I didn't do this all together. What I would do is I would do a couple of days, and then I would get on the computer and type the verses in and put them all on the same sheet and print them out and cut them apart and then glue them in. I did use a lot of the ephemera from the kit. These cute little peppermints are from the kit, so, and you'll see them on each day. And Melissa gave us a calendar with numbers on it that were on these little flags, and I just cut them out and put them on top of the peppermints. So you can see, and I did different ways. You know, this is the verse for this week or this day, and you know, I just put it and slid it in there. And now I did take this is a B6 journal, by the way, and I had printed out the standard size, and I thought, well, I really want to do B6. So what I did was I just cut that cover and made a page wrap with it. So, and this happened to be a Christmas card that I received this year. I didn't receive very many things, but in a minute you'll see a few more things that I received this year. But this was not quite the year, I don't think, that everybody did cards and things. And, you know, I did put a little bit of memorabilia in this book, but not a whole lot, and you'll see in a minute where my memorabilia for December is, and I'll show that to you. But again, just different ways to put journaling in there. It's a lot of flip ups and tip ins. You know, I wrote different places and different things, you know, and embellished different ways. So this was just a fun way to do this, you know, and I included some things that I had made on my own. So but this is basically the way I did this journal, and that was a postcard somebody sent me this year. So I did put that in there, and that's the other side of that journal cover. But basically that's the way I did that. So but I like to keep things from Christmas, you know, that I received. So in the kit, they were, Melissa has these wonderful giant, she calls them giant journaling tags. And there was a lot of them in this kit, and I couldn't decide which ones I wanted to use and which ones I didn't. So I just kind of almost used them all. I think there was a couple I didn't use. This piece, this and this set here, was a freebie for newsletter subscribers, so I used that on the front. And this is how this works, and I know you can't see, this is a long fold out. These are all of the giant journaling tags, and there's different things on different ones of them. So but I'll try to put some still photos in my feed so that you can see this. And the great thing about this is it's double-sided, so that's why there's, you know, blank backs, is because I didn't print the paper on the backs of each one. This one's kind of my favorite. That was just a charm to go on a necklace that I just glued on there. So, and again, fabric printed from the papers, and I'll tell you about that in just a second. It's a little card that was in the kit. Now, this was a card that I received from my friend April, and this is her son, and so I wanted to keep that, so I put it in this. So, they're just fun little ways to put stuff together, you know, and you can flip through it this way, or you can turn it over and flip through it this way. But when I made this cover and figured out that this would fit right in there, I thought, yep, that's how I'm making that. So, okay, about the cover. This is the papers. This one is, and this one, from the Wonders of His Love kit. And this one and this one are from a different kit. I wanted to, and you can see I made a ribbon that matched there to tie the journal together. I wanted to use this paper, and I couldn't figure out how to use it because it was so dense and it had so much on it that I knew if I put it in here I wouldn't be able to write on it. So I used mostly the lighter color papers in there, but I wanted a way to actually showcase this paper. And I did get to use it on that pocket, but it just wasn't enough. I thought, I want to really use that. So this is fabric that you can print on. And I'm going to show you, this was the first fabric that I ever saw that's, you can run it through your printer. However, and this is readily available at big box stores and the chain craft stores. You can get it online too. However, I'm going to show you the difference in this versus what I actually used to make this journal. This paper, or fabric, however you want to say it, is very textured, and it is kind of like a canvas is what I would call it. So it has a definite stiffness, and it is stiff right now because it still has the paper back on it, because you have to leave the paper back on it to run it. That's how it runs through your printer, and then you just peel this away. The same goes for the other fabric. This is the other fabric, and Lisa was the one that told us about this during My Heart of Thanksgiving. She did all of her journal and her tags and stuff. She quilted it, and this is how she did it. Now, this versus this is very expensive, but you're getting 38.5 by 11 sheets, but it is like $40. And that doesn't include shipping. Now, I got free shipping because I'm a Prime member, and that's where I got this. Now, could you get this somewhere else? I'm not sure. You can Google it and see. But you can see the brand name there. This is like, I think this is what, 10 sheets? Yeah, 10 sheets, same size. But this is like $15. Okay. But the texture of this fabric is so much different. This almost feels like you can still see there is a texture, but it feels like a silk kind of texture, a silky. I would almost classify it as a lawn. And if you know anything about cotton lawn, you know it's like really thin. I've made a skirt out of it before, but people put it in quilts. They make bags out of it. You can do anything with a cotton lawn that you can do with regular quilting cotton, what they call quilting cotton or cotton fabric, nearby. So I knew by what Lisa did in her video, Melissa had created washi, and she printed on this and then just ripped it. You can, if you know how to rip on grain, which I do because I'm a quilter, and I know that's not on this IG, but it's on my other IG, which is the same name as this one, just take the underscores out. So I knew I wanted to have that frayed edge look because I knew that I wanted decorative stitches from my other sewing machine. So that's why I chose to print on the other kind of like silky paper versus the canvas paper. Now, I've made journal covers with that canvas paper, and they turned out wonderful. So this basically what I did was I printed the sheets out, and then I decided how I was going to lay which strips out where, and then I would rip them and lay them out. This one was the first one I did, and I knew I was going to do this one because this I wanted to be the highlight and the focus of the journal cover. So I ripped this first and laid it, you know, the way I wanted it to go. Now these I just put the ripped edge on and laid it down and then sewed it, and then as you can see I cut the corners off. Now these do have ripped edges on all these, but you can't see them because some of the edges are covered up. Now the inside, this is just a commercially bought fabric and I left it all the same. It has a gold and kind of a cream colored print. And then at the bottom I had some really wide, like it looks like crocheted lace. And I thought this would be perfect for pockets in this. So that's actually what I did. I just sewed down on 3 sides, and it makes a perfect pocket. And I couldn't believe how great this stuff fit in here. I mean, I didn't measure it out or anything because I'm just kind of like fly by the seat of my pants when I'm making a journal. I don't usually when I sew clothes and quilts and things, but when I'm making journals, I kind of do it the same way I do my journal. I put in what I'm studying or what I'm focused on, and then I kind of rip up papers and cut out ephemera, and it just kind of goes with the flow. So And so I kind of do my journal covers the same way. I don't really plan them out, you know, I just kind of go with it. This was the first time I had done this. Normally, I would punch holes and put grommets and thread my elastics through. But I decided I didn't want to be able to see that. I wanted it smooth. I wanted it where you could just showcase the fabric, and that's what I did. So I had to figure out how to do this so that these would be bound in here. So what I did was I took some jump rings and I just zigzagged with my machine. If you're not familiar with your machine, you might not want to do that because you might break a needle, but I'm very familiar. I have a lot of sewing machines. I've been sewing for a very long time. I've tried a lot of projects, you know, so you could hand sew this either way, but you can see the stitching on the outside, but I kind of picked a color, you know, I knew about where it was going to hit, so I did pick that pink thread to go through and show on the front. So that's how I did all this. Now, the inside, what makes it hold up and make it stiff, you know, you saw that it would stand up. It does stand up. Okay, now, Pellon makes a product, and I ripped the things off of it so maybe you can see this. It's called Peltex, and I've used this for many different projects. I use this in bags. I use this for covers. You know, you can use it for cushions. Now this, when it says ultra firm, it means it. Okay, it's Peltex 70, all right, is what I used. Okay, they also make a Peltex 2, which is a 72F, and the F stands for fusible. So there is, this particular one that I used didn't have a fusible side. Peltex has, you can get this, I think this one is the fusible on one side, which means that you could fuse this whole piece of fabric right here down onto that by just ironing it on. Or they make another one, I want to say it's a 74F, and it will be fusible on both sides. Now the reason why, which this would have been so easy to just fuse these strips and then I could go back later and put, but here's the thing. My machine that does decorative stitches, it's pricey. And I don't like to gum up my machine, and the guy that services my machines doesn't want me to gum it up either. It's also electronic, so I am very particular about what things I put in my different machines, and I have a lot of machines, okay, but I knew that my best decorative stitches would be on my best machine, so therefore I did not fuse with the fusible Peltex. I used a 70 Peltex, which is regular Peltex. You could clip or pin if you're not sure about if you, I wasn't worried about being straight, not straight, whatever. Even these stitches that I did, I eyeballed it. I didn't put marking points or any of that. Like I said, the way I do my covers for my junk journals is very organic. I just let it go, and whatever happens, happens. So, but you do whichever way you think. If you're a new sewist, you may need to use the fusible Peltex on this. Either way would work just fine. So, whatever way works for you is what works for you, and whatever you're comfortable with putting through your machine, I would say go for it. I just not comfortable with a lot of gumming up on my machine, and I have gummed up a machine, but I do have a student machine that I do that on, and that is actually, I told you that I did sew this book together, and I did. You can see my stitches right there. I tried to staple it, but it just wouldn't lay flat like when it's, you know, sewn together. So what I did was I took my staples back out and I did sew it on my student machine. And, you know, that's the machine that I choose to put my paper through and anything that might possibly have glue on it. But, you know, you make your decisions, and if you are okay with cleaning your own machine and servicing your own machine, then you might want to use your good machine for glue and paper and everything else. But I just choose not to. You know, different people have different ways, and like I said, this was the ribbon that I made, and again I just ripped the strips and put them wrong sides together. You know, I didn't, there is a seam in there, you can see it, but I sewed this other piece that, because I was short one piece of the plaid, but you can't see that when I tie it because I make sure that I put it on the inside like that. So if you have any questions about any of these things, just send me a private message or just comment down below. I hope you've enjoyed this flip through, and I hope that your Christmas season was one to cherish and that you can document. I'm looking so forward to being with y'all in 2021 and to see what the future holds and what God's got for us. And I hope to be creating with y'all all through the year. Thanks for watching, friends. Have a great day.